Hello, my dear followers. Welcome back to Turkish series stars. If you want the freshest updates from the world of entertainment, remember to like this video and subscribe so you never miss a story. Today, the industry is buzzing over a development that has everyone asking the same question: what exactly happened between Çağatay Ulusoy and Hazal? The whispers started with a seemingly simple announcement, a signed understanding that had fans thrilled. The two were set to reunite for a digital platform project this summer. A nostalgic wave washed over social media at the news, because whenever these two share a frame, the screen feels brighter. But over the last few weeks, the tone around that project shifted from excitement to uncertainty, and now the conversation has turned into one big mystery. According to sources close to pre-production, the initial table talks were warm, even affectionate, a reunion that looked like destiny. The idea was intimate, character-driven, and the platform was ready to back it with a bold release strategy. Yet as creative meetings deepened, disagreements began to surface. It wasn't about talent or commitment, it was about how the story should be told. Character design, wardrobe palettes, location choices, the way a scene should breathe, these points became sticking stones. It might sound small from the outside, but for actors known for precision and instinct, these choices are the heart of the work. The tone of the show, the rhythm of the scenes, even the blocking in key moments were debated. What began as thoughtful conversations slowly tightened into strain. Then came the pivot that set the rumor mill ablaze. The project stalled, officially framed as a pause, but in effect a cancellation. Contracts were never fully locked on screen, and the platform, wary of delays, decided to step back. That decision deepened the tension that had been gently simmering. Around the same time, fans noticed something impossible to miss. On social media, the two no longer followed each other. It was a small digital action with a massive emotional echo, and the fan base erupted in speculation. Was this really about the show, or did something personal break underneath the professional surface? People close to the production insisted it was strictly professional, and yet there was a specific detail that kept resurfacing in the whispers. Allegedly, Hazal was unsettled by last-minute changes in the cast list, a rearrangement that, in her view, altered the chemistry and balance of the story she had originally embraced. She is famously protective of the work, of consistency, and of the team around her. Meanwhile, Çağatay Ulusoy, equally meticulous but generally quiet in conflict, reportedly leaned toward the production team's evolving vision. For him, the story could be reshaped to fit the new plan. Neither of them issued a formal statement, both chose silence. But silence never stays silent in this world. The question grew louder: did a minor startup disagreement swell into something larger, something that made two longtime favorites take opposite corners of the same room? And that room, quite literally, appeared in a series of photos from a reception not long ago. They were there, under the same lights, smiling for cameras at different ends of the hall. Fans poured over every frame, the way Hazal greeted friends with her familiar warmth, the way Çağatay kept his posture calm, respectful, but distant. No eye contact captured, no shared frame, no lingering glance that could be read as a promise of peace. When the press tried to probe, the answers were brief and careful. Çağatay brushed past the questions with a measured smile and a quick, "everything is fine," as if punctuating the moment and moving on. Hazal kept her composure, but when pressed, all she offered was, "let's not talk about it." Two sentences that said everything and nothing at once. From there, the internet did what it always does. Theories multiplied. Some argued that the distance was temporary, a protective barrier against noise while they navigated their options. Others insisted that creative misalignment had cracked open a larger concern about how and when to reunite on screen. The through line from the fans was clear and heartfelt: we want to see them together in the same project, breathing life into a story only they can make feel that alive. Nostalgia is powerful, yes, but with these two, it's more than memory. It's the belief that when they meet as characters, they awaken a spark that's rare in any era. Industry insiders, trying to calm the waters, have emphasized one point repeatedly: both Hazal and Çağatay are deeply professional. They come to set prepared, they speak the language of story, and they leave the rest to the work. If they choose to sit at the same table again, those who know them expect this rift could close quickly. A disagreement built on aesthetics can be solved by time, by a clearer script, by a director with a steady hand. And yet, for now, the silence between them dominates the gossip columns and unending social media threads. It's not a fight with messy edges, it's a pause with sharp ones. The irony is that their on-screen harmony has always felt effortless. From their earliest days together, the camera seemed to trust them. That old magic is why this moment feels so pronounced. Every small clue takes on oversized meaning. A look not exchanged becomes a headline. A comment declined becomes a statement. Each side has kept the respect visible, but absence is its own kind of presence. And just like that, the distance becomes the story. Reports that reached us suggest that whatever happened draws more from professional disagreements than any personal resentment. Schedules tightened. Obligations stacked up. Creative ambitions began pulling in different directions. Not in opposition, but in tempo. Think of two musicians playing the same melody on instruments tuned to different keys. The music can still be beautiful, but it requires time to retune. That's where the hope sits, in the idea that what's been misaligned can be aligned again if the right project calls them both at the right moment. Meanwhile, the online world is roaring. Comments scroll like a waterfall. Edits celebrating their old scenes, threads filled with pleas for a reunion, heartfelt posts that read like letters from longtime friends. Fans are writing scripts in their heads, imagining the reunion they want to see, a modern story, darker and richer, the kind of material that respects how both artists have grown. The longing feels communal, a chorus that refuses to quiet. Some say this pause could be the setup for a stronger return. Give it a season, they whisper, let new roles stretch them, and then bring them back with a director who can bridge their instincts. Others worry that the longer they remain apart professionally, the higher the expectations will climb, and the harder it will be to meet them. That's the paradox of a great pairing: the better it was, the more courage it takes to do it again. Still, the core question remains unanswered: why aren't they speaking openly about it? The safest interpretation is the simplest: because they have nothing to gain by feeding speculation. Let the work speak when the work is ready. Let time hold the microphone until the noise fades. That approach has always suited them. And yet, even with that logic, the curiosity lingers. That's the spell of a partnership that has meant so much to so many. Industry watchers, measured and calm, keep circling back to the same prediction. Professionalism will close the gap. It's only a matter of when and how. Maybe it's an award night encounter that warms into a conversation. Maybe it's a script that lands on both desks with a heartbeat they cannot ignore. Maybe it's a modest indie project, the kind that allows risk without the chaos of a giant spotlight. Or maybe it's a bold series with a director who knows how to keep the room safe for two fierce, thoughtful artists who care deeply about every line, every look, every pause. What we do know is this: upcoming events could tell us more. A brand launch where they might cross paths. A festival where the red carpet slows just enough for a shared glance. A panel discussion where a careful answer hints at an opening. Public moments have a way of nudging private ones. And when that happens, you will hear it here first, with all the nuance it deserves. Until then, what remains is a kind of suspended longing. Not just from fans but from the entire ecosystem that has watched them rise, evolve, and define a certain era. The hope is simple and sincere: a new project that gives them a stage worthy of their history and their growth. Something that reignites the spark without trying to repeat the past. Because neither of them is where they were years ago. They're sharper now, braver, more selective. They know the cost of compromise, and they know the value of patience. If they return to the same set, it will be because the story is undeniable. So, for now, the question of why they aren't talking more remains open, but not ominous. Sometimes a pause is just a pause. Sometimes distance is only a line break before the next chapter. When and if that chapter arrives, it will carry the weight of expectation and the thrill of possibility. And when it does, it could be the rare reunion that justifies every minute of waiting. Thank you for watching and for being here with us at Turkish Series Stars. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates from the Turkish television world. Stay tuned, take care, and remember, the story is still being written, and we'll be here to read every line with you.